Hey, how are you? If you came here for the Shrike giveaway and the Q&A on the Talon, you're in the right place. We are giving away this Shrike pictured right here. Comes to us courtesy of August Test. That's his name, August Test, in the month of August. All works out very nicely. Thank you very much, August, for putting up this month's giveaway. All you gotta do to win this Shrike is be a subscriber to this channel and leave a comment right below. Say anything you want. I will draw randomly from the comment section in exactly 4 weeks from today, and that is it. This is also very timely because we have the Q&A, which just came out today from RSI, and it's unusual to get the Q&A so late after a ship has come out to concept, but better late than never. So let's take a look at what they're saying about it to learn more about this ship. Starting with the very first question there, where does the Talon fit within the hierarchy of stealth ships compared to the Eclipse and Prowler, Saber, Raven, and Hornet Ghost? That is a very good question because the Tavaran ships are supposed to be stealthy, so where does that fit in with it? The answer is the Talon is not a dedicated stealth ship like the Eclipse and is positioned as a ship with stealth features. So it'll sit between the Saber and the Ghost in the examples listed above. That's not too bad. I mean, the Saber isn't the stealthiest. The Ghost is supposed to be pretty stealthy as far as combat ships goes. So falling in between, acceptable. I would have liked to be more specialized in stealth, but I guess they want to leave that up to you with more aftermarket parts, which you can pick for yourself. Next question is, how aerodynamically capable is the Talon, both in-engine and realistically? And I don't know why they want to know realistically, because in-engine is the only one that counts, because the ship is not being built IRL, as far as I know. Really? The Talon handles better in atmosphere than it looks at first glance due to its low weight and relatively aerodynamic wing profile, and as you can see, it does indeed have wings, which makes it perform better than a brick like the Aurora, the blessed Aurora. Is there an incoming missile mechanic rework which justifies the light fighter with 24 size 3 missiles? Now, this is the loader of the Shrike, as I mentioned. It has size 1 gimbaled weapons, but 24 size 3 missiles, which makes it a very interesting ship for combat. So the question is there something happening to make this ship better or interesting that effect? There are plans to not only bug fix but improve missiles and countermeasures in upcoming patches to give much deeper level of gameplay rather than the current fire and forget approach. Interesting. What does this mean? Because this is pretty critical to the type of gameplay you'll be using the Shrike for. Now, we know in the past there's been a couple of ships like the Constellation which can lock on all of its missiles and fire all of them at the same time. That is not meant to happen that way. What it sounds like to me is there's a certain rate of fire that these missile launchers can have. So you have to lock on and you can fire maybe 1, 2, 3 missiles, not at the same time maybe, but in a short amount of time. As opposed to firing everything at once. And you can't fire everything at once with the Shrike. It just doesn't seem to have the missile launchers built that way. But it does seem that there will have to be some sort of advantage to having a Shrike that will have some sort of rapid missile delivery system. So changing the current fire and forget approach, that is interesting. What does that mean? Because at the moment, you simply lock a target, you fire, and it's gone. I think what I'm hearing here is they'll want you to keep the target in front of you within a certain cone, same way the gimbaled weapons possibly. So as long as the ship is in front of you in a certain cone, that missile will lock and hit properly. That's what I'm hearing from that. If you hear otherwise, let me know. Post your comments below. The brochure indicated bespoke weapons. Will we be able to take the gimbals off and put on 2 fixed size 4 guns on the Talon or fixed size 2s on the Shrike? What weapons or components on each model are bespoke and fixed, and which ones can be swapped? The answer to this was, the wing-mounted weapons that come with the Talon are Esperia recreations of Tavaran weapons, obviously, much like those found in the Prowler, and can be swapped out with other standard weapons. That is, on the Prowler, you can take off the weapons there and put on the Revenants or something else. We all know that. Now, the missile racks on the base Talon are swappable. However, the bespoke missile racks on the Shrike cannot be replaced. Makes sense? It's kind of built into the hull. Though the missiles themselves are customizable as usual. All right, that's good. In terms of maneuverability and agility, where does the Talon fall in the current list of small fighters? Great question. I was very curious about this too. Compared to our existing light fighters, it currently sits between the Arrow and the Gladius in terms of maneuverability, though this could change during implementation. Personally, I don't think there was a bit of a gap that needed to be filled between the Arrow and Gladius. I'd be perfectly happy with the Talon being as maneuverable as the Arrow, or if it just actually dishes out a lot more DPS, if it does, then put it in line with the Gladius. But falling in between, I don't think there's enough of a gap between the Arrow and the Gladius that another ship could fall in between there. I suspect it will tend more towards the Gladius levels of maneuverability, personal opinion. Next question, from the brochure. While unique countermeasures derived from the original specs found in Cabal 3 create radar decoy signals to leave aggressors fighting ghosts, does this imply a new type of electronic warfare that will be coming with the ship, or is it simply flavor text? Good question. We know that currently there's no way to counter the cross-section type missile locks. That is possibly what they're alluding to here. Let's read the answer. As mentioned above, we have plans for deeper missile countermeasure gameplay, which extends to the use of e-warfare. A few other ships are planned to utilize similar decoy countermeasures alongside flares and chaff, including the Prowler and Vanguard Sentinel. That to me sounds like the cross-section missiles will be getting some sort of countermeasure to them along with the flares and chaffs. Much needed, because at the moment there is no way to counter the cross-section missiles, just outrun them maybe. The description seems to say it's lightly armored, but the brochure lists medium armor. What should we expect? Now why does this always happen? There's always discrepancies between what's said on the website and what's said in the brochures and marketing materials. I don't know why there's such a disconnect between the two, but let's read the answer. Because the Talon is lightly armored, not medium armored. The brochure listing for medium armor was a mistake and has been corrected. Okay, I think that is fine. The ship is being sold as a light fighter, therefore light armor, and obviously very maneuverable. You're not meant to sit there and take a pounding. You're meant to be flying all over the place and dodging the fire. I understand that, and I expected that too. Next question. Will the Talon or Shrike have a bed? Does it look like it fits a bed anyway? Let's read the answer. I think you guys know the answer already. The cockpit escape pod looks like it has space for more than a seat. No, it doesn't. Does the Talon have any interior space? The Talon has no usable interior space, shocking, other than the pilot's chair. It does not have living quarters. It's a light fighter. Come on. Who asked that question? I guess they have to answer anyway. Is the role of the Shrike intended to be a stealth missile ambusher? I would think so. If so, how many missiles can it lock and launch simultaneously? Great question. This is one of the things I was going to ask. And it's a question in everyone's mind who's buying the Shrike. It has a lot of firepower with the missiles. How does it work? The answer, the Shrike's role could be described as that, and compared to non-missile focused ships, it will be able to lock and launch more missiles when the revised missile locking system comes online in a future patch. Ultimately, the exact amount will be controlled by the ship's computer and can be upgradable via blades, though dedicated missile ships will support more by default. Interesting. So right now your standard ship can lock on a missile or two and fire them. It sounds to me that you'll be able to upgrade and customize your ship to fire, or at least rapidly fire, 4, 5, 8, 12 missiles at the same time. That will make the Shrike a very interesting hit and run ship, and I think that's the direction they are going with it. Next question. The brochure hints at having an air shield tech. Is this for an interior, for a unique entrance ship exit method? Or was it just mentioned because it's also a Tavaran ship? It is partially mentioned due to the Tavaran nature, though the cockpit does seal itself during ejection with air shields. Okay. Will the Talon have the Phalanx Shields on release? Answer. At release, it will have the same shield behavior as those currently equipped to the Prowler and Defender, which feature Phalanx Shields in their design, so 100% ballistic absorption and massively increased shield hardening ability. There are plans to push the abilities of the Phalanx Shields further, but no additional details are available at this time. Okay, that's a good answer for a lingering question I've been having about Phalanx Shields. If you focus your shields forward, what kind of damage do they take? What's the penetration damage with energy damage? And it sounds to me that basically I want to say Phalanx Shields, if you focus a shield just in front of you, will absorb almost everything, is what I'm hearing. I like that a lot. Next question. Will players have any control over the cockpit after an ejection? I think we know the answer to that, but let's read it anyway. The ejected cockpit is not controllable like a parasite ship and should be thought more of as a escape pod that fires out of the ship for a period of time in a predetermined direction. And there's a pretty picture of it as we see there, which opens up the nice concept of pod kills in Star Citizen now, because it looks to me like these will be easy to shoot at once they are ejected. Will the escape pod functionally be included with the release in December? Will be added later on. At minimum, it'll function like all the other ejection seats except forward firing instead of vertically. When the ability for ejection pods to be fully set up is available, the Talon ships will have been implemented. Alright, so it sounds to me like your body will just be ejected. I don't see how they're ejecting that. We'll have to see how it comes out. I don't think they have it ready. Last question is, how will the Talon differ itself from other fighters? Answer. Compared to other fighters, the Talon splits the difference in firepower between the stock Gladius and Buccaneer. Interesting. I think it's a good balance. Favoring fewer but larger weapons. Agility-wise, it's between the Gladius and the Arrow, but as I said in the first answer, I think it's going to lead more towards the Gladius. It is often very much user preferences between these ships, so it fills a gap in the lineup that promotes choice in game. Alright, fair enough. Overall, I'm still a very big fan. As I said before, I love the design. And I think the Shrike is going to be very interesting if you can upgrade some kind of computers. You can lock on multiple missiles at the same time. It might be a very hard-hitting ship, which you can win. All you gotta do, subscribe to my channel, leave your comments if you enjoy my content. As always, give me a thumbs up. YouTube loves when you do that. I will see you in the next one, and good luck in winning that Shrike.